Telling our stories is the connective tissue of the collective human experience. The Just Keep Talking podcast delves into the lives and stories of artists. What is the impact of mental health on creativity? What does it mean to be a creative individual? Someone who feels deeply, experiences joy and pain intensely, and navigates the challenges of life through the creative process. With each story shared, we explore the authentic experience of our basic need to be seen, to be heard, and to belong. We're really not so different from one another, nor are we alone. Together, we can inspire, encourage, and enlighten each other to find the true joy and fulfillment that is within ourselves. When we just keep talking, we create the space for gratitude, self-acceptance, and grace in everyday life. In a world filled with divisiveness, fostering inclusivity and connection is a powerful way to make a positive impact. Tune in to the Just Keep Talking podcast with me, Brother Love, because your story matters. Welcome to the Just Keep Talking podcast. My guest this week is Jeff Fasano, photographer to the stars. Hello, sir.
Hey.
Good to see you, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, man.
You are a photographer. You have shot everybody. My man, Jeff Fasano, Steven Van Zandt, David Crosby, Stephen Stills, and Judy Collins, Chris Christopherson, Vince Gill, Jason Isbell, Billy Gibbons,
Sarah Tomek,
my wife, Wilco, Margot Price, James Earl Jones. You photographed Darth freaking Vader. How cool are you? I'm going to tell you how cool you are. You're very cool. And Quincy Jones. This is bananas to me. Tell us a little bit about who you are and where you come from. You can Google anybody, folks. You listen to the Just Keep Talking podcast because we delve into the lives of the artists and their creative nature.
I'm from where David Johansen's from. I'm from where Buzzy Verno's from where Johnny Rayo's from, where Earl Slick is from, where Kazan Sultan's from. We're all from Staten Island.
Staten Island. Such a point of pride for you. Isn't that great? See, I'm from Queens. We have a pecking order in New York, don't we?
Oh, no doubt. Well, actually, I was talking about this with somebody the other day. I still don't understand why Staten Island's part of New York City.
You all think
It's
that.
Jersey.
You know what? It's part of the 5 boroughs of New York City. That's what it is. And you want to leave. And you know what? Just leave. But you don't leave. Okay? So as a guy from Queens, when I go into someplace and the cat says, oh, I'm from Brooklyn, I'm like, all right, you're cool. Brooklyn. Okay. I'm sort of third in line. As far as I know, Manhattan is still first.
Yes.
Then Brooklyn, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, then Staten Island, and then the Bronx. I tried to slip that in there. The Bronx and then Staten Island. When I was a kid living in Queens, I used to go to this beach with my friend, Mark Lichtenstein, my earliest childhood friend. We started playing drums together. We were in summer camp together. And I remember they used to talk about this cabana. My parents and the cabana, cabana this, cabana that. I don't understand. What is a cabana? And so they said, we're going to the cabana. We're bringing Larry. And they lived in New Hyde Park, which is kind of between Queens and Long Island.
Right.
So we would get in their car and we would drive to Staten Island.
Really?
And at a certain point, they would hide me. They'd say, Larry, get under all of the blankets in the back. Because I guess there was a fee for somebody else in the car to come to the beach.
You were probably going to Midland Beach.
Okay. Where did the Jewish people from Long Island and Queens go in Staten Island?
I'm still trying to figure out why you were going from New Hyde Park
I don't know.
to Staten Island as opposed to New Hyde Park to friggin' Jones Beach.
I think it was like a grandparent thing. They went to visit their
okay,
grandparents.
okay.
I don't know why, but they would hide me. Larry, get down and hide and don't make any sound. And we'd go through this toll booth. I'm a kid. By the way, I'm a child. I'm like 10 years old.
It was the whole thing is you paid per person.
That's why.
So they hid you
Right.
so they can only pay for 3 people or 4 people or whatever it was.
I was always under the impression that Staten Island was this wonderful place with this awesome beach. And the only other time I've ever really spent any time in Staten Island is when my wife and I, Sarah Tomek, as you mentioned, you took wonderful pictures of my wife, the famous Sarah Tomek.
Yes.
We went from Asbury Park, New Jersey, where she's from, to Long Island to visit my parents. So we would always go through Staten Island, even though we didn't have to, because there's a pizza place called Brothers Pizza that we found that is one of our favorite places. So when we go to New York and New Jersey, we try to go through Staten Island to go to Brothers Pizzeria.
The pizza on Staten Island and the bagels
Yes.
on Staten Island are the best in the friggin' world.
We have a lot to cover between then and now. You had a whole life before you were a photographer, my friend.
Yeah, well,
Share a
I
little
mean,
bit of
all
that.
the way up until I was 40 years old.
Exactly. That's
So
it.
I was in the corporate world, import-export steamship industry for 18 years.
Import, export, steamship.
You know the big containers you see,
Yes.
and you go over to Berry Hill and you see see that whole big container. That's what I did.
Wow. So you did that for 18 years.
18 years.
Wow. And something happened. Something transformed. What happened there, young man?
You know what's really interesting?
What?
Things that happened in my life happened after breakups. I made these major shifts in my life based upon breaking up with a woman. I was dating a woman and she showed me her headshot. And I went, I want to do that. She went, what? I go, I want to take pictures like that.
So this is when in your life? How old are you at this point?
28 years old.
So you're in the importing, exporting business. You are in Manhattan, World Trade Center?
No, I'm still living on Staten Island.
You're working at the World Trade Center, importing, exporting. You look at her headshot and say,
I want to do that. I want to take pictures. My friend's girlfriend at the time, now his wife, said, hey, you always loved photography. Because when I was in college, I was shooting all the time. She said, Tom's taking a guitar class at the new school. I went back and I took a photography class, a refresher, because I still knew how to do everything. So I went and took this class. At the end of that semester, this guy, Mario Cabrera, wanted to be my mentor and still my friend to this day, who I dedicated my book to, looks in the wash and says, is that yours? I went, yeah. He goes, take my class next semester.
When you say looks at the wash?
A print of mine is in the wash. And it was a little 8x10. He goes, is that yours?
Right.
And I said,
you're developing this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I took his class. And that is what blew my mind. This is what started the trajectory of me doing this for a living. The first assignment was go and look at how Rembrandt painted light. I went to the bookstore. I opened the book and it blew my mind, Larry.
Right.
I looked at how Rembrandt painted light and saw light. And a switch went off and this euphoria came over me. This is rocking my world. So I stayed at Parsons for that semester and 3 more. I studied with him for 2 years.
Wow, that's incredible. So you had always been excited about photography. It was something that you loved.
I was doing it in high school.
Oh.
I had photographs in my high school yearbook and stuff like that.
But it wasn't an option for you? Like getting out of college, you said you just went right into the workforce.
I was doing what my father did.
Right.
I was following in Dad's footsteps.
Right, and that made sense. Why follow your dreams, right?
Right.
Was that even possible? No, I know.
Parents were Depression-era parents, and my father was get a job, get a pension, and get benefits. Then you're golden.
And then die. And that's it. Hope you had a good time. Hope you had fun.
So I did that with Cabrera, and it just rocked my world. Then I started dating another woman.
Right.
I moved to Manhattan. Then I left Parsons.
Right.
I took another class at International Center for Photography in New York City with this guy, Harvey Stein. That class was amazing. And at the end of that class, he brought in 2 models, set up his lights, and we all could shoot the models. And as I was doing that, I went, this is what I want to do.
Wow.
This is what I want to do.
How old were you? This was 1992, you said.
Right? I was 32.
And you were still working in shipping. You had your job. Yeah.
Then I just was going crazy. I was shooting everything. I built a dark room in my kitchen. I mean,
wow.
I had all of this stuff going on. We get to the end of that relationship.
Right.
And she turned to me and said, you know, you hate your life. You hate your job and you hate your life. The only time you're ever happy is when you're with me and you've got that camera in you. My eyes pop open and I went home and I took out a yellow legal pad and on the top I wrote, what do I want to be when I grow up?
And you were how old at this?
33.
33.
And I sat there and wrote down all of what I could possibly do, even in that world. Photography was in there a little bit. I'm writing the list. My cat's sitting next to me. Larry, at like 11 o'clock at night, I look at the list. Photography jumps off the page and hits me in my soul.
So you were open to that and you listened.
And I'm going, that's what I'm going to do. I wanted to go in and quit my job the next day. Now I'm 33 years old. I don't have a portfolio. I have nothing. So my father calls me and I told him, he goes, you're not ready to quit your job. I went and I got pissed. What? He goes, you're not ready to quit your job. He was right. Wow. I had nothing. So what I did is right then and there, I made the decision to dedicate every waking moment of my life, except to go to the gym for an hour, on photography. I built a dark room. I got lights to practice. I used to have photo parties.
What is that?
On Friday nights or Saturday night. Do you know who Lee Childers is? Lee managed the Heartbreakers. With Johnny Thunders and Jerry Nolan and all those dudes.
Yeah.
Richard Hell.
Wow.
He managed Main Man Music for David Bowie and Andy Andy Warhol. I became friends with Lee, and he and I would have a photo party. So I would put up a background in my living room, and I go, hey, Lee, bring some of your friends over. Some of his friends was freaking Sid Vicious. I mean, they would come up, and he'd bring his bottle of gin. I was drinking, and I would shoot, photograph.
Wow.
And then like 3, 4, 5 in the morning, everybody would leave. I developed the film, and that's what I did to practice.
Wow.
And I figured I'd have fun with it all.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And then I practiced and started building a portfolio.
Right.
This is before websites. This is before any of that.
Yeah.
So I was building a portfolio. Lee became an amazing champion of what I was doing. I said, yeah, maybe I'll shoot headshots. He goes, no, you're not. You're an artist. Follow that. That was a wonder.
Because you could have just gone, not just gone, but headshots, that's great. That's a wonderful profession.
Make a lot of money doing headshots.
Yeah.
He goes, no, you're an artist. He was a wonderful, wonderful champion of what I was doing at the time. I kept on building it. Then I got gigs and stuff like that. And then a woman where I was working with a company called Zim Lines, an Israeli government-owned steamship company. The 16th floor of World Trade Center 1. We had the entire floor.
And this was
1995, 6.
Right.
She looks at me and says, what do you want to do with this photography? And I said, I want to shoot music. I love music. I'm not a musician. Out of the blue, she goes, oh, I have a friend who works at RCA Records. She's a VP at RCA Records. I go, can I get my portfolio to her?
Yeah.
So she goes, yeah, let me talk to her, and we'll go up there at lunchtime.
Amazing.
Went up to RCA, got on the train. She and I went up, dropped off my book. 2 weeks later, they call me. They go, hey, we want you to shoot James Galway in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I went, okay.
Wow.
And I got that while I was still working.
It's amazing.
And then I got a lot of other gigs and stuff like that, and started amassing all of this. And then my father said to me, you will quit your job, and you'll know when it will be, and there won't be any drama surrounding it. He goes, one day it'll hit you, and you will go in and you will quit your job. And I remember it was October 1998. I'm walking around Lower Manhattan with my camera taking pictures, and it hit me.
Wow.
And it just hit me. I felt it in my solar plexus, and I go, I'm done.
Wow.
Walked into my boss, went in, Larry, typed up
Wow.
a resignation letter, typed it on a typewriter.
Oh, yeah.
There's no computer.
You had a lot of skills, my friend. You could always go back to the office.
Walked in, and my boss says this. He goes, I was waiting for this today.
Really?
And I said, the last day of 1998 is on a Friday. That's going to be my last day. So I gave him 3 months' notice.
You gave him 3 months' notice. And did
then
you stick it through for
I
3
did.
months?
Yeah.
Integrity.
Left on Friday, December 31st, 1998 was my last day.
There's a new guy in town.
And then 1999 was the first year that I started this. It was a Friday,
Right.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
On that Sunday night, it was like about 9 o'clock at night, and I went, I don't have to get up tomorrow morning to go to work.
That's amazing. So the first year of your freedom, of your new life, you let go of who you thought you were supposed to be, and
Exactly.
you became and embraced who you are.
Yeah.
That's a Brene Brownism.
That's really what it is.
Yes.
So many things happened simultaneously that first year. That first year, I started studying metaphysics with a guy by the name of Robert Baker in New York.
Right.
What I came to realize, the reason why I was so angry, it wasn't the job.
Right.
I still am friends with those people today. I loved those people who I worked with. I was not living my soul's purpose.
But how does one do that? It's such a difficult thing to do. I mean, I'm so impressed and blown away by you. And I'm on a similar path in life where late bloomer, if you will, where you say, wow, you know what? I'm just not happy. And I'm supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z. And I don't have time for my soul. And there you were answering your own call.
I was so miserable. I'm telling you, those words, she got it right on, because there was something burning inside of me that I needed to follow. And for me, it was non-negotiable. It was either I stay doing this and be a very miserable person,
Right.
or I follow this and follow what my soul is calling me to do.
Right.
Most people, my father, it was all about safety and security.
Yes.
And that is how most people live their lives. It's about realizing that and knowing that our safety and security, actually, I don't even like those words, is within us.
Yeah. So you made a commitment to yourself to be safe and secure within.
Yeah, and that's really just making a commitment to ourselves.
Right.
If we make a commitment to ourselves and hold to that commitment, then everything we're doing outside of ourselves is creating relationships and setting boundaries and having agreements.
Yeah.
There are no commitments to anything other than ourselves.
Right. And if we're taking care of ourselves, we are taking care of everything and everyone around us.
Bingo.
And that is so overlooked. I have felt nothing but pressure my whole life because I'm taught that I need these securities from the outside. I never committed to myself, and I never fully committed to me because I thought it was being selfish.
Oh, wow.
That's a big distinction.
Yeah, that's part of being, it's about taking care of other people and not even recognizing our needs on so many levels.
Because I feel better if I take care of you.
You'll love me if I take care of you.
Exactly. Wow, that really is a shell. I was a shell of a human being. And it's been a really hard journey.
Larry did the same thing. I lived my life proving that I'm worthy to be loved.
Proving, performing. Oh my goodness.
Oh, you're going to love me. Artists are essentially, we're very sensitive people, bearing our souls in our art, putting ourselves out there. We're putting a part of us out in the world all the time.
Right.
Finding our self-worth and self-value and self-love that we were never modeled by anybody, and finding that on our own so we know I'm lovable just for who I am. Dude, my value after a while, if I showed you a print of my work and you didn't like it, it would crush me because I transferred my value into my work, and therefore there is my value.
Yes, whole career.
And I did that until I got into therapy and started working on loving, honoring, and valuing me for who I am.
Yeah.
And therein lies our safety and security within ourselves. All we want to do in any relationship is have a safe place to land.
Yes. When did you start therapy?
1999. So the cool part of quitting my job, I was just ending one part of my soul's journey. And that's what I knew it was. This door was closing that chapter of my life.
Yeah.
Now I was starting a new chapter of my soul journey, and I'm choosing to do it as an artist. I had to ease into closing the door. What really was, when I was 33, I wanted to yeah, I'm excited. I want to do this photography thing.
Right.
And my father said, no, you're not ready to close that door yet.
He was really on the
You
journey
will.
with you. I think
He was incredible. And he was right. I'm now ready to take the pathway to close the door on the old life.
Right.
So I had to make a plan.
Yes.
Okay, living metaphysically and our soul's journey is one thing, but we also live in this world. So one of the things Terry said, make a plan. So I made a plan. And the plan was to build up a body of work and get a lot of experience so I can then close the door on that life. Some people could just slam it shut, but that's the path that I took. And then right before I turned 40, boom, I closed that door. And I never had an ounce of fear. And the reason why I never had an ounce of fear is because I knew all I did was close the door on one chapter of my soul's journey. And the cool part is all of a sudden, I started meeting people who I would never have met in that, like artists, models, actors. It was just like a whole world of a whole new thing that I never knew from being in the corporate world. I was meeting corporate world people.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm meeting Robert Baker, got into a whole new realm of bioenergetic therapy. And from doing that, that helped me through the beginning years of creating this whole new life.
That's amazing. What a commitment to yourself. That's fantastic. And you've been in therapy ever since?
Pretty much.
Pretty much?
At times it was intense therapy, but really what it is just having somebody to talk to about shit that's going on. We all need, at times, we can't do everything on our own.
Right.
We all need people to help us process shit that happens in our life from an objective point of view.
Right.
A great therapist is somebody who's going to take the mirror and hold it up to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we can look at ourselves, because anything that happens in the world, somebody comes up and triggers something inside of us. That has nothing to do with that person. You can thank them for going, oh, wow, you just triggered something inside
But
of
I
me.
want to be mad at them for wronging me, no?
Yeah, right. And you can have all your feelings about it, but I didn't make that person feel anyway. On our journey in life, with wonderful thing about therapy, is just making us aware, raising our awareness and consciousness to ourselves. Oh, wow, that person just did this and said this. whoa, that triggered something inside of me. They probably said was something that our mothers said when we were 7 or 8 years old. And then breathe and respond by saying, oh, wow, that just triggered this in me.
Right.
And then it's really, okay, I need to take responsibility for me.
Yes. 100%.
That's all it is. I need to take responsibility for what I'm feeling that's happening inside of us by finding ways instead of projecting those feelings onto another person.
That's so hard to not do that. It's so hard to not project and get just angry and blame and feel despair and despondent and just feel like the world is closing in on me and it's your fault.
Right.
My wife just got home from a long tour, and it takes a while for us to get back into our groove.
Yeah.
And communication is not where it will be, and it lacks. We both have our ways of coping and dealing with being apart, and it's hard, and we blame each other. We're in that space, but I know that we both know that we're on the same side and that we do care and respect each other. But it's so hard, Jeff Fasano. She comes home from tour and she yells at me about something and I yell at her about something, and we're not listening to each other.
Yeah.
And it can be so painful and so difficult. But like, I know we love each other, but we're in this space where it's just easier to just blah, blame and blah, you're wrong and you made me feel this way. And I don't want to feel that way anymore. And I know she doesn't want to feel that way anymore. And I know we're going to get through these things. And I mean, we're fine. It takes a minute to get to the quiet place where I am taking responsibility. And I did. I left not in a huff at all. I was at an event the other night and I was watching a movie. A friend of mine made a film and it was so touching. And I started to cry and I just started to melt because I realized I was being a jerk to my wife because I wasn't taking care of myself. And I thought to myself, what am I, nuts? She wants nothing more than for me to do me. I want for me to do me, and she's going to do her, and we're going to do things together. But I was in such a crazy, insane place where I was just angry and I was blaming. I was watching this film in a space of quiet and peace, and I started to cry. And I thought, wow, I just learned something. I took a little bit of responsibility and thought, oh my goodness, I need to relax a little bit, release some of this, and talk about it, because there's no reason for me to throw this on somebody else. And hearing you talk about this really brings me to a place of appreciation, because now we're at a place where we're getting older and you carry this anger, you carry these things with you through your life. And it's so painful. I know so many artists, so many musicians who carry this pain, this struggle. It's almost like a badge of courage. If I'm going to be an artist, I'm going to suffer. Why do we feel like we have to suffer so much?
It's that starving artist, angst artists stuff. But Larry, God, I've been there. We've all been there.
Yeah. A lot of us keep going back there, Jeff Fasano. You have crossed a threshold and you made commitments to yourself. And now you seem to be living your best life. You're 67. You just had a birthday.
I tell you, it's been a road to learn how to love myself. As I am. It has been a road to move through my programming and conditioning from mom and dad, nice guy stuff, my caretaker stuff, my proving stuff. It is so much energy expended to do that because we were never taught by mom and dad how to love ourselves and how to honor ourselves and how to value ourselves. We had to find all of that out on our own. I remember when Robert Baker one day asked me, so Jeff, what do you need? And this was probably my 5th or 6th session with him. He just started the session off with, so
this
Jeff,
is your therapist, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What do you need? He could have been speaking a foreign language. I didn't even know what that meant. Nobody, Larry, in my life had ever asked me, what do you need? Not my mother, not my father, not anybody. I didn't even know what needs were. All I knew how to do was take care of everybody else.
Right. Yeah. I know what I want, right? I
Yeah.
have wants.
And I lost it. I think I cried for 10 minutes because I was so touched that somebody asked me what I needed and I couldn't even answer them. And that started me on the road to understanding what a need was. I was 40 years old.
Yeah.
40 years old, and I had no idea what a need was, much less express a need to somebody. Why? Because if I said, hey, you know what, Mom, this is what I need, that was going to cause a conflict, and Mom was not going to love me anymore. Getting me to understand what a need was.
Wow.
That was the beginning of really My needs are important to me. And I'm the only one who can take care of my own needs.
Right.
The inner journey is not for the faint of heart. It's one of the most courageous things that we can do,
Yes.
is to take that inner journey, to go within to all of that trauma, all of that conditioning, and all of that programming, move our way through it layer by layer by layer. And believe me, we're never done. I'm 67. You're never done. There's always going to be another deeper level. But here's the cool part. All a good therapist is doing is giving you a shitload of tools and raising our awareness and consciousness to all of that stuff. So we have tools, whether it is like you just did. I went and saw this movie and I got quiet with myself.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's a tool. One of the most important things is feeling our feelings, allowing ourselves to have all of our feelings, because we're feeling constantly.
Yeah.
From the moment we wake up in the morning till the moment we go to sleep, we're feeling all day long. Mm-hmm. So if we can say, I'm feeling angry right now, it's okay. I'm feeling sad right now, it's okay. I'm feeling happy right now, it's okay. So then if we're triggered, if someone triggers something inside of us, it's always important to keep in mind that we're human.
Oh, a little grace, you say.
What I'm talking about is all on a deep soul level.
Very much so.
What the best thing to do is feel it, and then, okay, here's a tool. I'm going to go to the subway and scream my bloody brains out and release the energy of the feelings, because all of our feelings has energy attached to it.
Now, the thing that happens, though, is that violence can occur.
Yes.
So like Thich Nhat Hanh, who I love.
I just finished The Art of Living.
Yeah, I just finished Fear and Anger. Right. It's wonderful stuff. When he talks about some people will go and hit a pillow, get out that anger. Now, what he's saying is, in the Zen Buddhist tradition, is try to avoid the act of violence.
Right.
Which is really tough, because now what I'm seeing is just saying something the wrong way is an act of violence. Mm-hmm. Me just saying, Jeff, you know, I'm angry because you pissed me off because you did this and that's how you did it. The way I'm speaking to you is violent.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out my way of getting to the point, expressing myself, feeling my feelings, and yet not knocking you over the head with it.
Right.
And it's really hard to do sometimes because I'm a New Yorker. My wife is from New Jersey. We speak like this, right? You understand. You're Staten Island. It used to be a badge of honor to be like, yeah, that guy, he's from New York. He'll tell you straight up how it is. And then I realize sometimes I'm like, wow, I'm being kind of violent with my words towards people. And I think they're taking it the way it sounds, which is violent. And I don't need to be violent in this way. I'm just reminding myself this as it happens. Cool. You know why? Because it keeps happening. You said it perfectly. These things, they don't just end, right? It keeps going. You're 67. I'm going to be 54 soon. Every single day, the same issues come up that I had 20 years ago, 5 years ago, 40 years ago. It's just a matter of, do I handle it a little better now? Am I getting to the place where I can go and scream at the subway or go and have a quiet moment and cry? I think what happens is people go to therapy, people go and talk about things like that, or they say, I'm working on myself, and then they go, oh, I did it. Problem solved.
And then the next thing is going to show up.
But that's the thing. It's okay. The human beingness is that it's okay that when it comes up again and you go right back to the anger, or you go right back to feeling depressed, to not then be angry at your anger, to not be depressed at your depression.
Right.
It's a cycle that will keep coming up, and the only way to break it is to be mindful of these things and to really stop, look, and listen to ourselves a little.
I have a men's group that I facilitate here in Nashville every Monday night. We just finished The Art of Living, and he talks about suffering. And I mean, these guys, very deep spiritual dudes, and we really go into this stuff.
Yeah.
And then we talked about suffering. Somebody brought it up and goes, why do we really suffer? And it hit me right at the end of the book. Went, oh, I was triggered. Feelings came up, and it triggered a memory of trauma. I'm not pissed off. I'm just feeling angry.
Right.
I'm just feeling sad. I'm feeling all of this stuff. When all these feelings start coming up, but he says, if we're mindful that that's what's happening, we can move through that with grace and ease by allowing ourselves to be where we are, and it's okay.
Yeah.
a lot of people have a huge bag of tools,
Yes.
but forget to use them.
Well, love, serve, and remember is so the remember part. I know I need to love and I know I need to serve. The thing that I forget is to remember.
Yeah.
The thing that I forget all the time is that I remember that I have these tools, that I remember that I can get through this by being with it and not just pushing it away.
Right.
And not shaming myself or shaming my wife or shaming my friends or shaming you, Jeff Fasano. Michael Singer, The Untethered Soul, he says, you free yourself by finding yourself.
Exactly.
And that's kind of what we're talking about here.
We're picking a new book in the men's group on Monday night.
The Untethered Soul and Living Untethered, Michael Singer. I'm going to invite myself to join your group, so thank you for the invitation. Living Untethered, page 86, there's a quote here. It says, experiences are not suffering, they are experiences. But if you decide how you want them to be, and they're not that way, then you suffer. Suffering is caused by the contrast of what you mentally decided you wanted and the reality unfolding in front of you. You know, people say read the room. My father said that to me. I really had to come to terms with my musical career. I'm not making a living touring because it's too expensive. And as an artist of my own, I decided to be my own boss and have my band and have all that. And it was too expensive. And I was touring with other artists. And I'm working with like narcissists. And I'm working with people that aren't treating me with kindness or respect monetarily or with respect in my art. And I found myself in a place where I was like, I'm not happy. I'm 50 years old and I'm miserable. All I'm doing is tap dancing for everybody else. I think that I should be further along. I want the world to be the way I want it to be. And it's just not. And my dad said to me, he goes, you know, I just don't think you were reading the room. And that really hurt. He doesn't understand the business. He says, I don't understand your business. You can always go back to school. I swear I'm going to go I'm going to go to NYU and send him the bill. And it's going to be great. 54 years old.
You got to move back to New York City.
Yeah, it's going to be expensive, Dad.
Yeah. Except Washington Square Park is still a pretty cool place.
It's awesome. I was at Washington Square Park last year, and
it's still great.
It was New York.
It's got all of that Bob Dylan, all that Gertie's Folk City vibe still going on in there.
All there. That recharges my batteries like
no doubt.
Nothing else because I'm born and raised in New York City. But getting back to this is that I wanted the world to be the way I wanted it to be, and I couldn't will the world to form the way I wanted it to be around me.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think I'm a narcissist. I know I'm selfish. I know that I want what I want when I want it. And I don't think I was reading the room. My dad said it. It hurt because it triggered something in me. He was a mirror. I was in a space where I quit drinking and I said, I need clarity. I am a depressed person and my life just sucks. My wife is touring the world. I'm not. I've been a drunk for forever. So I have to give myself some grace with the fact that I didn't have clarity and I worked half-cocked, if you will, for a whole career because I was a frickin' drunk. I absolutely have talent. I absolutely know that there are records with great songs. I mean, there's fans to prove it. I've sold some records. I have songs right now that are on television shows. I mean, there is stuff out there that I can look at and say, there is some success. But I was miserable because I kept thinking, if I'm not rich and famous like I wanted to be, you know, if I'm not Kiss, you know, if I'm not, I mean, those are the things that I grew up wanting to be a rock star.
It's okay that you wanted to be Kiss.
Thank you. But then I started to look inward and I started to quiet and I started to read and I started to study and I started to remember. I started to remember that all of this stuff is outside of me. Like we talked about. All of this stuff that I want to make me happy has nothing to do with me on my core, my soul, my inside. And so I quiet down and I started listening. And I started listening. And the reason why I can sit here with you right now is because I started listening.
What were you listening to? Or a better question, because when we start to listen, what were you hearing?
I was hearing humanity and I was hearing the other person. And I was hearing my own voice, the inner child that was angry at the moment and I can move through it, or joyful at the moment, like for no reason, or the quiet, the space that's in between where there's nothing. You know, there's space in between where there's quiet and we're so programmed to have to do something.
Fill that void.
I spent so much time trying to be somebody. Ram Dass talks about this. I spent my whole life in somebody training. I'm going to be somebody. I'm a rock star. I'm a photographer. I'm a therapist. And now I'm in nobody training. I don't mean it as I'm putting myself down, like I'm a nobody. But I want to be somebody that is a part of my community. I want to be somebody that listens to people, somebody that is available to my loved ones and to my own self. And the happiness that I have found by not tap dancing for everybody else, the happiness that was already there. You know what I heard when I was listening? I was walking my dog and I was at the park. I remembered I had this vision and I was a little boy and I was back in the park and I was safe and I was happy and everything was perfect. And there I was, 53. This happened this past year. And I was the same space of joy, peace, calm, and I was safe. And that's what the listening has afforded me to do, because I am a nonstop party, fun, talk, perform, all of that stuff.
All out there.
All out there.
Yeah.
And I'm just so grateful to be able to turn the microphone on and create some space where I'm doing a radio show on Lightning 100 with nonprofits, Community Corner, letting other people tell their stories. I want to hear your story, Jeff Fasano, because your story enlightens me and shows me what life is for you, and I learn about me.
My story is being who we are. That has been what I want to do. Yeah, I've done some great things and photographed some incredible people, but it wasn't even about photography. One of the things that my friend Ron Baker, he talked about life being a series of experiences. What I realized is that I was not allowing myself to experience what you and I are doing right now. When I saw you Sunday night at 3rd and Lindsley, the experience of hanging with Larry. And I realized, like, wow, I'm looking beyond the moment of the experience in the moment by allowing myself to have the experience and being me in the experience. Damn, that is so challenging. It has been my challenge to just be, which is what you just said. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to show you these great images that I shot of you. Look how good this is. Do you love me?
Yeah.
I did that. I probably still do that.
Yeah.
I'm probably always going to do that because there's always that part of my wounding that's still there.
Right.
The biggest challenge is I am perfect, being imperfectly being me. And then as I'm being, I can have this experience, because the thing about what's important, and Robert said this, most of us, when we get to that place, there's an emptiness inside of ourselves that we're trying to fill up from outside of ourselves. I wake up in the morning, I need to do this today. Why? Because I'm feeling an emptiness inside of myself, and I've got to do something to fill that emptiness up. And then some way, somehow, I'm going to feel really happy and joyful because I've just filled up the emptiness inside of me. That shit don't work.
Fill the holes, man. Fill the holes.
Robert O would say, life is about feeling fulfilled in each and every moment, in the experience we're having in that moment. That is incredibly challenging as a human being, because I need to get on the road next week.
Right.
So I'm filling up this void, this mythical void inside of ourselves.
But it's also the way we are now, especially artists, right? I mean, if you're not posting and if you're not out there for the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, putting out music, putting out photography, putting out your art, right now, we are in a space, we are in a world where there is no just sort of stop, look, and let's take this in. We are really on to the next thing really fast. And we all talk about it. Social media is a killer of our soul.
No doubt.
To an extent, but it's a necessary part of our lives. But I'm able to have these conversations, and it's not just with the mics on. You and I connected the other night, and I saw you and you saw me. And it was like, wow. And we were both working, but we both took a moment to really be with each other. And it's that quick. It's that fulfilling. It's the kind of thing that can happen at every single day, moment to moment, breath to breath.
Yeah.
We can find this peace and find this happiness. I know that if I go to the supermarket right now and I just look at somebody in the eye and smile and just nod my head, my world opens up with so much joy because I connect with another human being. I spend a lot of time alone. My wife goes on tour. I'm not on the road. Sometimes I get a gig and I'm out, but I'm home, and I will hide from the world, which is very scary because I will be alone and I will get overwhelmed with depression. I will get overwhelmed with my thoughts and my fears and my angst and my despair because I have these things. And the minute I go out of that, which is hard to do, I went out on Sunday night. I wasn't feeling too happy on Sunday, and I went to work at 3rd and Lindsley, and I saw a friend. I saw you.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool. I saw you, and you were just you. That's all you were. And that was enough. You weren't Jeff Fasano, this famous photographer to the stars. You're Jeff Fasano. And I just like saying Jeff Fasano, you know? You are a phenomenal photographer because you're listening, right? Your space is to create the space. You're able to create the space for others to just be. And you became Jeff Fasano in a new season. Mm-hmm. You're able to capture moments. You couldn't have done this in your 20s and 30s.
No friggin' way.
Yeah. I mean, you are able to be quiet, to not bring yourself to the process. Is that what...
Please. Here's the thing.
Let me shut up.
Sarah Tomek calls me and says, Jeff, I need new photos. Nothing about that photo shoot's about me.
Right.
It's all about that person who has hired me for their needs.
Yes.
What I'm bringing to it are my talents, gifts, and abilities, not only as a photographer, but as everything that has been revealed to me in 20 years of therapy.
You're in service to the moment.
To the person, to the moment, to what I'm doing. I'm being in service to that band, that person, that artist, that Broadway show. I just shot a musical in New York City in January. I'm being in service to that show.
Right.
And because I have been in therapy now for 25 years, having checks and balances in our life with ourselves, that I've learned studying metaphysics, learned how to love myself, and I'm a Reiki master, I've studied light extension therapy, all of that in what I do as a photographer.
Yes.
So I can create a safe place in that moment for the band, for the artist, and then we're creating a relationship, and then we're taking photographs.
Right.
If I didn't meet Robert Baker and start working on myself, I don't even know what would have happened in my career because I would never have gotten in touch and worked through all of my trauma.
You were in service to yourself. I'll just speak for me. I served myself for a lifetime and realized I was not serving anybody else. And I was only feeding something that could never be. I was feeding emotions. I was feeding fear.
You were feeding wounding.
I was feeding the wounds of my life,
Right.
and that just kept going, and there was no healing, and serving the moment, serving others. When I started to serve anybody or anything other than myself, my world is now opened up.
The key to doing that and not giving ourselves away to be loved is we have to learn how to serve ourselves first. We have to move from the outer to the inner,
Right.
and then do what we need to do for ourselves, because the only way we can give without attachments,
Right.
without giving to get, and give freely is if the well inside of us is full.
Man, that's the whole interview right there.
We have to realize that it's full. You don't have to run out to the corner bar and start drinking to fill that void, that emptiness. I'm a nice guy. I'm a recovering nice guy.
Right.
I'm recovering needing to prove myself all the time.
Yeah.
We're recovering all these parts of ourselves that says, I can give to you, and there's no attachment. Why? Because my giving is done freely. And it's not even up to me how you accept it, how you don't accept it, how you reject it. I'm giving to you, and here it is.
As opposed to the conditions.
All the attachments to giving. Oh, I'm giving to you right now, and you better love me.
Or you better give me this in return.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah.
if I do this for you, you do this for
To
me.
me, yeah.
When you are photographing some of these wildly successful and famous people, what's that like for you to step in? These are big time people. And you're bringing your bag of life. You're bringing your experiences. And there's got to be times when you're like, wow, this person is going to take a lot from me.
What it is I'm going back to my therapy
Please.
of my trauma, moving through all of that, and then all the amazing tools of studying light ascension therapy with Robert Baker, of learning how to allow that person to be exactly where they are.
That's great.
And loving them exactly where they are in that moment, creating a safe place for them to be crazy and neurotic. Why? Because I've always needed that.
Yeah.
So I'm that person.
Right. That's
I'm
great.
that crazy neurotic artist who has to do a photo shoot with me that's triggering so much inside of them. I'm that person. So the question is like, oh, when was I doing that?
Right.
I'm that person
Yeah.
right now. And then you go, okay, so what did I learn I have a great story actually about this. 2 photo shoots I did in LA. One was a well-known actress, and she was easy, lovable. She loved it. She was great. My friend Maria was my makeup artist. It was peaches and cream.
Yeah.
We flowed. She was amazing. The photos were great. The next day, I'm doing a magazine shoot with the guy who was on the show Entourage. I remember he walks in, and it was my birthday. And he walks in with a bottle of wine and says, Jeff, happy birthday. After that, he said, I don't like doing photographs of myself. And Maria, my makeup artist, I just felt her energy go, cringe.
Wow.
And I just said, okay, I don't know what to do now, because it was a big thing. We had some designers, suits, and all this stuff. And we were on the beach in Playa del Rey, and I went, okay. And I looked at Maria, and she goes, oh, man, oh, what a downer. I said, Maria, we have been studying all of this spirituality stuff for years.
Yeah.
One of the main things, it's easy to love the people who are easy to love, but it's a little bit more challenging to love the people that are challenging to love. He's a wonderful person. He just has his stuff that's going on, good-looking guy and stuff like that, but is triggered when he's got to do this.
Right.
I said, don't worry about it. We're going to have a blast.
Yeah.
So what we can do is like you did when you walked in the park. You go off, and what I do is I just said, okay, universe, what are the things that I need to do? And you let it come to you. Oh, he's an entertainer. I'm going to not do the photo shoot here. I'm going to take the dude to Venice Beach. And if you've ever been to Venice Beach,
Very nice.
It is like, walking East Village.
It's a very artistic
and
it's
crazy, wild and crazy place.
Yeah, colorful.
So we went there, and I know that area so well. One of the best coffee shops is there. And it's very eclectic and stuff, and I know where the light is and all that good stuff. And I sat him down in an area where people saw him, and all of a sudden they were calling out his name.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh, he lit up now.
He lit up.
Yeah.
He was being noticed.
Yes.
And boom, did that whole thing. Then I took him to the marina for a different look. People, oh my God. And he lit up. All of a sudden, he started to enjoy being recognized for who, for him. All I did was nurture that all day with him. I said, Maria, just nurture where he is. Right. He's not the person we photographed yesterday. He's who he is. So we did that all day, like for a good 3 or 4 hours. And all of a sudden, at the end, he went, wow.
Yeah.
That was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I said, well, how do you feel about yourself now? And he goes, wow, I can do this.
Wow.
That's what I'm grateful for, are the people who taught me how to do that.
You're really listening. You're listening on the deepest level.
And forget about me doing a photo shoot. It's about meeting somebody and saying that's where they are.
Right.
They're not going to be who I want them to be.
Right.
They're just going to be where they are. Then we know what our needs are, our boundaries are, and we have the amazing aspect of discernment that we could use in that moment if, in fact, we want to have a relationship with that person. Whatever that relationship is, we're in this life of giving ourselves a break to be who we are.
Yeah.
And we're in that place of learning. It's the biggest thing. It's what therapy's for, to learning how to love, honor, and value ourselves where we are. Why? So we can love, honor, and value the person across from us where they are. That's how we live in equality, harmony, peace, all-inclusiveness.
I'm so impressed by the fact that you're a middle-aged man able to have this conversation. We don't speak about these things. No. And I'm finding that the more I speak to some of my man friends, is like just scratch the surface and we're all wanting to talk about this stuff. We're all feeling, I feel like there's a surge. There's something in the universe. There's something going on now where we're saying, I'm not happy. And I'm speaking to a lot of people that I'm either friendly with or just getting to know that are saying the same thing. I'm not happy, that I've been blaming it on everything outside.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, slow down. What's going on inside? This is a conversation that we need to keep having, Jeff Fasano.
It's why I facilitate a men's group every Monday night here in Nashville. It's why I'm doing a workshop with my friend Randy Cook right now, based upon the book No More Mr. Nice Guy. Really help men know that they're safe. It's a safe place for men to feel their feelings, have their needs, to express themselves. I just shut it all down, internalized it, so everybody else will be happy if I did that, which is a form of narcissism, by the way. It's all about me. If I take care of your needs, it's all about me.
So I am a narcissist.
So,
Jeff, come on.
That's a narcissist thing. We all are. And the reason why is because a wounded child, a 5-year-old child, the whole world revolves around that 5-year-old child. And they think that.
Right.
The thing to remember is that when we're triggered and we're reacting, if we're living in mindfulness and mindful self-compassion, to realize and differentiate between the wounded child and the adult.
Wow.
And the adult making adult choices because, Larry, that wounded child has been running our life. The wounded child inside of us is going to lash out and point fingers and project that you made me feel this. And I had to go, what is that triggering inside of me? For men, we're at a point in our evolutionary process as a friggin' species that if men could begin to bring it within and know that they're safe to have their feelings, to cry, to feel sad, to feel depressed, to feel, and then talk to somebody about it and express it, it's not going to make you any less manly.
Right. He's got quotes. He's got quotes in the air.
It's about moving through that toxic masculinity.
When I'm at my freest form person, when I'm feeling safe, I'm a great lover. I'm a great husband. I'm a great musician. I can go into something that I don't even know how to do and feel like I'm going to give this a shot.
Yeah.
It's freedom because I feel like I've found myself. There's a quote here from Alan Cohen from a great book called The Dragon Doesn't Live Here Anymore. Our strengths lie within us, and it is only our permission that can activate their expression. Our problem is not that we are weak, but that we do not believe that we are strong. And that's a big deal, to believe that we are strong, that we are empowered just by being who we are.
People talk about abundance.
Yes.
We are our abundance.
Yeah.
My challenge, this could be a challenge for many, many people, and probably one of the reasons why I'm still single at 67. My challenge is receiving love. It's frightening for me to open my heart and move into that vulnerability, to open my heart like my cat does and roll on her back and have so much trust that I pet her and she starts purring. I want to do that.
Yeah.
It is still a challenge for me to be in the moment, the experience in the moment when somebody says, I love you, I care for you, you're an amazing person, and be there. It's terrifying for me to be in that place and open my heart to receive it and then let it touch me.
Yeah.
It's been a challenge my entire life to trust that.
I'll tell you, you're single. The first problem is get rid of the cat, okay? Nobody.
I have 3.
Yeah, that's your problem, okay? I'm single. Yeah. It's beautiful that the cat allows itself to be loved and all that. Get rid of the cats. Get yourself a nice puppy. You'll have as many girlfriends as you could ever possibly want, okay? But in all seriousness, that's such a huge, huge point you're making, because we validate ourselves by how much we give, especially as men.
Yeah.
Right? My father has not the ability to be an emotionally loving person all the time, but he knows how to give in his way, and that's money. It's like his way of giving is just what he knows.
Yeah.
Receiving? That's not even a word. Like we're just programmed. If I give, then I will be loved. I don't have money to give. I can give of you all of myself until I'm like a raisin, dried out and spent. And I have not taken care of myself, and I've not done any receiving. But receiving, Jeff Fasano, you're talking about something that we don't do. We don't allow.
Yeah.
We don't get to the quiet place where we can receive. And it's so important. And I'm thrilled for you to receive.
Well, what I'm learning is the way in which I deflect. My friend Alex, who turned me on to Robert Baker, called me on Tuesday for my birthday. And we have been through everything together. Every type of relationship. We created consciously the relationship we have now. And she is telling me how much she loves me. And man, I'm on the other end of the phone. I'm feeling my energy come up to deflect it all. And I said, I just need to hear this and receive it, and then feel and allow that frightened little 7-year-old boy who doesn't even know how to do that. What that 7-year-old boy is hearing is that you're saying this to me right now, which means you want something from me.
That's huge.
And that is a trauma and conditioning inside of me that I deal with all the time. I am learning. And I just said to her, I said, I'm learning how to receive this.
In real time.
Right now, I'm learning how to receive. This is still a challenge for me to receive what you're telling me and the love you're energetically giving to me right now. When I'm thinking, and she knows this, Alex, I feel like you want something from me. She goes, what's coming up right now? I feel like you want something from me. In my mind, I know that is still in process within me to feel safe in that moment, to receive this love and not keep life at arm's length.
Yeah. You're still doing the work.
Yeah.
That's the part of this, everybody, anybody, all of us, is that the work continues. It's the most rewarding work one could ever do.
It's the most courageous thing that we can do in this lifetime is to open the door to ourselves.
Wow. Thank you. You're wonderful. Yeah. I learn a lot from you, my friend.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I just want, if there are men listening to this, listen to Larry and I speak to each other.
Yeah.
Men, if you're having a challenge of opening your eyes up, I'm going to start crying right now.
Me too.
Because Larry and I have just connected, I feel, on such a heartfelt basis that you are allowed to feel. You are allowed to open your heart and feel.
And it's okay.
And it's okay to be where you are. Wow, with all of this. I'm feeling incredibly fulfilled and with joy right now in these feelings that are coming up. And just to let you know that you can feel safe with another guy and opening your hearts to it, and you still have your masculine energy.
Yeah.
Because we all have the masculine and feminine energy inside of us. It's about defining what that is for you and feel the connection with another person, and you're still a guy.
Yeah, and you're alive.
Yeah.
Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. That's Howard Thurman, American author, philosopher, theologian, Christian mystic, educator, civil rights leader. You make me come alive, sir.
Ditto.
Thank you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this conversation. And it's something that's been coming up over and over and over again. And I want to continue this, especially with men. And I want to continue this. But I do have some questions for you. What fascinates you?
What fascinates me in my life are watching artists create their art. I love hanging out with artists. I love knowing what their process is. And I was afforded that opportunity with a new magazine in New York many years ago, Gotham Magazine. Wow. I wanted to shoot musicians and actors, and they said, no, we have these sections. And I got to meet chefs, architects, authors, interior designers. It blew my mind. Right. So I am fascinated by the artistic process, watching how artists create. I've been fortunate enough to work on Broadway shows, from the first table reading and watching it become a show on Broadway. Wow. Nothing fascinates me more. And then being in the studio with a band or an artist making a record, it blows my mind.
What angers you? What pisses you off, Fasano?
What angers me is people not caring about other people. It triggers anger inside of me when I see people, come across people who don't care.
That pisses me off.
Who don't care about other people.
What brings you joy?
Music, art, Broadway, artists. Yeah. When my friend Donna came up to me and says, what do you want to do this photography thing for? I love music, and I'm not a musician, but I love music. It brings me so much joy. And that's what brings me so much joy. Then my talents, gifts, and abilities as a photographer, when I'm doing it, brings me a hell of a amount of it. I am in another level of consciousness when I'm doing that. I always say bombs could be going off all around me, and I'm in this state of consciousness of pure friggin' joy.
If you had a magic wand and you could fix something, make it better, I got this, Fasano, on the case, what would it be? What would you do?
Okay, within me, opening my heart and allowing myself to receive love and feeling my feelings about it. Out in the world, opening people's consciousness to themselves, to love, honor, and value themselves so they care more about their fellow human.
Amazing. And now the big one. Jeff Fasano, toilet paper over or under?
Over.
You darn right. And this is from a cat guy. Oh, good. Jeff Fasano, I love you.
I love you too.
You're the photographer to the stars. You have a published book, Americana Portrait Sessions, a fine art book. It is a book of intimate portraits that reveal the strengths, heart, soul, and musical genius of wonderful artists that are in the Americana world.
Yes.
What a beautiful book. If you don't have the book, folks, go buy it. How do we get in touch with you?
My website, jeff@jefffasano.com. Check me out on Instagram and Facebook. I don't do TikTok or any of that other shit.
When I grow up, I want to be you, Jeff Fasano. Thanks so much.
All right, man.
Thank you
This is great.
so much. This is great. Thanks for listening to the Just Keep Talking podcast with me, Brother Love, because your story matters. Until next time. Bye-bye. You can personally support this show simply by clicking the tip link in the show notes. The Just Keep Talking podcast is now available on all podcast platforms. Please like, share, and subscribe. Visit our website at justkeeptalking.com, our YouTube channel at Just Keep Talking Podcast, and Instagram at The Just Keep Talking Podcast. We all just want to be seen, to be heard, and to belong. Thank you so much for supporting my mission and the Just Keep Talking Podcast with me, Brother Love, because your story matters.